friends, welcome back to this next installment of our deep dive into imagination with Quinn and Street Project. I am still Miss Tierra. I am still happy to get into it with you. And let's just begin how we typically do with some good breaths. So go ahead and you can either be standing or sat in actor neutral. You can choose to have your eyes closed. You can look forward to somewhere in front of you and find a gentle place to rest your eyes, or you can keep them open. Go ahead and make your choice. I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes. And take a deep breath in through my nose, out through my mouth. Deep breath in through my nose, out through my mouth. Deep breath in through my nose, and this time hold it for 3, 2, 1, all the way out. And let's have our eyes all meet back on the screen. Hey, again, we're going to move into our check-in. And because this is about imagination and we've been doing improvising, going with first thought, best thought, saying yes to different things, we're going to mix up some of the things you've been typically doing. So for today, for check-in, my question is, how are you feeling? But rather than having you say that with words like we typically do, I invite you to share how you're feeling with a movement. So I'll go first. How am I feeling today? And that's me. So what about you? How are you feeling, but express it through a movement? Okay, thank you for sharing. We are gonna move to our warm up. And again, we're kind of mixing things up. I would say that the theme of the day, so I know we've looked at setting, we looked at character. The theme of today is just creative movement. Like we could say it's kind of our whole body and how can we use it as creatively as possible to tell a story. And so to do that, we're gonna shake up some of what we've been doing in warm up today. And I'm gonna call this warm up like a body discovery. Like kind of like if different parts of our body were brand new. Like say this is the first day we ever got eyebrows, like your eyebrows are new to you and you just want to explore it. Kind of like if you get to get a new toy or something and you open up the packaging and then you want to try it out. We're going to do that with different parts of our body. There's no right or wrong. You're just going to be exploring different body parts as though they were new to you just to see how they work. All right, so actually let's go ahead and start with our eyebrows. Just like see how they work. Okay, let's move to our eyeballs. You can explore directions, you can explore speed. Don't make yourself dizzy. Okay, let's move on to our nose. Like you got this brand new nose, what can it do? Maybe some people can wiggle their nose. I can't, but you can at least try. Okay, what about our cheeks? These brand new cheeks, what can they do? What about our mouth? What about our chin? What can your chin do? What about our ears? What can our ears do? And there are people who can wiggle their ears. I can't, but maybe with your new set of ears, maybe you can. Try it out. And now what if our whole head was new? Like this is the first day we got this head, we're gonna take it for a spin. What can our head do? What about our neck? What can our neck do? Okay, let's try out these brand new shoulders we got today. What on earth do they do? And what you're doing, how you want to explore your own body, doesn't have to be what I'm doing, but you can again try things with speed, with tempo. Maybe can our shoulders move really slowly? That's interesting. Huh. Okay, what about our chest? What can our chest do? Okay, how about our belly? What can our bellies do? Okay, how about our hips? What can our hips do? These are a brand new set of hips. I want to take them out for a spin. Now, what about our whole spine? What can your spine do? What about our hands? And our fingers as part of our hands? What can they do? Okay, what about our wrists? How about our elbows? What can these elbows do? Okay, how about both of our arms? What can they do? All right, moving on down. What about these knees? How do they work? Like it's the first day you ever had knees. Okay, what about our ankles? How do these ankles work? What about your feet and your toes? What do they do? Now, how about our whole legs together? What can these legs do? Let's see what they're about. All right, and let's take about 10 seconds and any other part of your body that you want to either revisit or maybe visit for the first time, just see what it can do that maybe you don't normally do if you're sitting in class all day or just going about your daily life, almost like it's brand new. What does your body do? And meet me back in actor neutral. So hopefully you are feeling nice and warm because I definitely am. And we are going to keep going, exploring creative movement with our bodies. And for this next fun activity, I'm going to ask my friend, Miss Anna, to come and join us. Come on, Miss Anna.
Hi, I have water boiling, so it's a little bit hectic, but I'm here.
Okay, sure. Well, if we got to take a break, you just let me know.
I will.
Anna, we're fantastic. We are going to revisit, one of our old favorites, Magic Rocks. And again, we've gotten to use this in different ways to explore different things. And today, like we said before, we're going to use it to explore creative movement. And so, let's get started. So go ahead, again, friends at home, with Magic Rocks. It's something where, if you want to feel like kind of you're playing this along with Miss Anna, you can look at the screen, and if you want it to just be your own individual experience, you creating with your body, you don't have to look at the screen at all. You could just listen. So it's up to you, but whatever, your version of any of these images is perfect. And if you, maybe if I give a prompt for what you as a Magic Rock want to transform into, if, if it's something where you're not exactly sure what it looks like, just say yes. We're improvising. Your first thought is your best thought. There's no right or wrong. So I'll stop talking. Let's go ahead and play. Okay, so Magic Rocks, go ahead and get ready. Beautiful. Magic Rocks turn into a windy day. Nice. Magic Rocks, come back. Magic Rocks turn into ocean waves. Lovely. Come back. Magic Rocks turn into excitement. And come back. Magic Rocks turn into fear. Fear. Okay, Magic Rocks, come back. Magic Rocks transform into confusion. Very nice, Magic Rocks. Come on back. Magic Rocks transform into friendship. Lovely, Magic Rocks. Okay, come back. Couple more. Magic Rocks turn into anger. All right, come on back, Magic Rocks. Magic Rocks turn into silence. Nice. Magic Rocks, turn back into yourselves. Thank you so much, friends, for trying that on, for saying yes and for going with your first thought, your best thought. Miss Anna, do you want to say anything about how that was?
I really love transforming into things that aren't things that our bodies are used to transforming into, which is a word that we use called abstract. So I love making my shapes very abstract, meaning not realistic. Because if Miss Tierra says, you know, magic rocks turn into a person who is lifting their hands up high, I just kind of, I don't have a whole lot of options. But when Miss Tierra gives me big ideas, I have a lot of room to use my imagination, which I love doing. And with that, I'm going to be paused for just 1 second.
Fantastic. So now that we're warmed up in our body and our imagination, definitely we're going to keep going. And this next activity I'm going to call Make Art Come Alive. So now instead of word prompts for ways to make a movement, you're going to get your prompt, your inspiration are going to be different works of art. And it's going to be pretty similar to Magic Rocks. These are all murals. So they're all going to be paintings that are one-dimensional, right? That means if you put your hand on it, or well, since they're two-dimensional, yeah, it's two-dimensional because it's on wood, right? So we could feel like the wood that they're painted on. Murals are often, right, they're art that we can see outside often or on a wall. So they are, so if you touch them, then they're flat, right? So when we begin, I'm going to suggest that, again, an actor neutral, either sitting or standing. I'd say have your palms kind of out and flat. You know, kind of like you are that canvas first. You are that canvas that that the artist has painted on. I'll give you a moment to kind of, you know, to see the art, breathe it in, and then you'll hear me snap. And then when you hear me snap, everything okay, Miss Anna? Okay, so when you hear me snap, then you can go ahead and come to life. And so something that you see in that mural is going to inspire you to create a movement. It can be, again, another still picture, but in 3D with your whole body like a tableau. It can be a literal pantomime, so acting out with your body something realistic, or it can be, like Miss Anna said, a more abstract movement. It doesn't mean that you're trying to show something exactly perfectly realistically, but you might get inspired by the colors, by the shapes, by what the art makes you feel, something like that. And then I'll go ahead and I'll snap my fingers again, and you will come back and like return to that that sort of neutral mural place, and we'll go to the next one. Yeah, and I will, you know, something that I'll go ahead and say is all of the murals that we're going to see are ones that I took photos of when I was out walking in 2 different neighborhoods in Oakland, either the Fruitvale neighborhood or downtown. And these are all murals that were put up by different artists outside in the wake of the uprising of protests that our nation saw during the last June around Black Lives Matter. So that's some of the themes that you're going to see in the murals. But again, you can respond to the colors, you can respond to shapes, you can respond to how it makes you feel, any kind of way. We'll do a practice and then we'll kind of do it for real. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All righty. All right, so this is our first one. So again, I would say, make yourself kind of like that blank canvas, like a mural. Gaze at it with your eyes, take it in, take one breath, breathe in the life of the painting, take another breath, and I'll make that painting come to life. All right, back to neutral. This is our second one. Let's take a breath to breathe it in. Take one more breath in. Now come to life. Very nice, let that go. Right, make yourself that canvas for that mural. Take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in. Come to life. Nice, let that go. Okay, breathe in. Taking in all the colors, all the textures. Breathe out. Breathe it in. Come to life. Nice, and back to neutral. This is our next one. Take a deep breath in. Taking in the mural with your eyes. And out. Deep breath in. Make it come to life. Back to neutral. Take a deep breath in. And out. Taking in all the colors, the textures, the feeling with your eyes. Deep breath in. Come to life. Very nice. Back to neutral. From your neutral, take a deep breath in. And out. One more deep breath in. Come to life. Lovely. Back to neutral. This one, deep breath in. Taking it all in with your eyes, your heart. And exhale. One more deep breath in. Make it come to life. Let that go. Back to your neutral. And this is our last one for now. Take a deep breath in. And out. Take a deep breath in. Make it come to life. Take a deep breath in. And come back to yourself. All right, shake it out, 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 shake it out. I'll go ahead. Let's roll our shoulders back. Let's roll our shoulders forward. Remember our warm up where we had big wide wings? Let's go ahead and breathe in and spread our wings. And then let's exhale and bring our wings in. Give ourselves a really good hug. And let that go. So friends at home, I would love for you to take a moment, and of course you can always pause the video if you want to give yourself more time, and just explore for yourself, what was that like? What was it like having time with this art and then creating something from it, making it come alive with your own body? What was that like? Miss Anna, do you want to share anything about what that was like for you?
one of my favorite parts of that, other than the beautiful art, because I was very excited to see all of those beautiful, beautiful murals. Uh, I think it's interesting how our brains and our bodies and our emotions are all connected, because many of those I would look at and I would start, my thinking brain would start to kick in. Oh, what are you going to pose as? How are you going to pose? I don't know what to pose for. I don't know how to move for this one. But the more you breathe and take in the art. So if you got frustrated, go back and try it again, because sometimes your
Mhm.
body will just do something with that. Your eyes took something in, your breath took it into your heart, and your body will express it however. And I also want to share with you, I did two poses that I felt like were kind of similar to each other, and I judged myself for that, and I gave myself kind of a hard time. But I also, the other side of my brain had to come in and say, it doesn't matter, because our I was making an honest gesture based on my reaction to the art. And so we don't have to be mean to ourselves about those kinds of things. Every pose that you did or didn't do is great, and this lasts forever. So you can always go back and try again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I relate to in my own way this feeling sometimes of like, oh, I want to be creative, but I have to be like the best kind of creative. I have to be the most the most whatever, I don't know, different or whatever. And that's this is our place to play. This is our safe place to explore and play. And we can let all that go. It comes in sometimes, that we can take a breath, be kind to ourselves, and say yes to the next moment. For sure, for sure. Absolutely. And definitely, if you're like me, when we do art about things that we care about, including things like racial injustice, that can bring up different kind of feelings, and some that are really difficult. Like, some of those murals made me really happy, and I feel powerful, and sometimes they also make me sad. And so, just, again, if you need to take a moment for yourself, if you need to take some deep breaths, you need to give yourself a hug, get some water, do any of that. Okay. But yeah, and in theater, we like to do things, that are just fun and silly. And also sometimes we like to explore things that are more serious. So thank you for trying that on. Okay, we got one more thing today in this creative movement day. So we were exploring things just with words, with things that you hear from me. We've explored moving based on different works of art and that are visual. And now we're going to use our movement to make come alive a poem. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna first share my screen. And we're going to learn about the poet whose poem we're going to be reading and bringing to life today. Her name was Gwendolyn Brooks. That's a picture of her when she was younger. That is a typewriter. In case some of our young friends have never seen that before, that's a very old school typewriter. So before iPads and phones where you could press the screen and it would do things, and before keyboards on a computer that you could type and then it just the program made the letters appear, there were these things called typewriters where there was actual ink, and you would press a button, and there was, I don't even know how to describe it. There was a little thing that would look like the letter, it would touch the ink, and then it would touch the paper.
Kind of like
Over and
stamps.
like stamps. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, like you pressed that, and then it made the stamps of the different letters like hit some ink, and then it hit the page. So just she is using a typewriter, like old school precursor to the computer. But so, Miss Anna, could you read our short biography here of Miss Gwendolyn Brooks?
Absolutely. Gwendolyn Brooks, 1917 to 2000, was an award-winning writer who was born in Topeka, Kansas, and raised in Chicago, Illinois. By age 16, she had already published 75 poems, and she went on to write over 20 poetry collections, a novel, an autobiography, and more. Her inspirations included urban Black communities, the unique experiences of Black girls and women, and civil rights activism.
Thank you so much. And just to highlight one of the words in there, that word urban is like folks in cities. Like she grew up in Chicago, which is a big city, versus rural, which would be an area that was like a little more country. There's a lot more nature, kind of like this background that I've got. And so we're going to look at a poem from her and we're going to bring it to life. I'm going to scroll on down. This is a poem that I really like. It is called Pete at the Zoo by Gwendolyn Brooks. So first I'm going to read through it. We're going to talk about kind of what it means, and then we're going to bring it to life with your creative movement imagination. Beautiful. Okay, Pete at the Zoo by Gwendolyn Brooks. I wonder if the elephant is lonely in his stall when all the boys and girls are gone and there's no shout at all, and there's no one to stamp before, no one to note his might. Does he hunch up as I do against the dark of night? And that is Pete at the Zoo. Yeah, we can, sometimes for poetry, we can give some snaps, after we hear a nice poem, beautiful. And so let's first just talk about, our who, what, when, where, and why of this poem. So who, and thank you, Miss Anna, so much for helping me. And of course, folks at home, you can like pause and think about what are your answers to these questions to add in the mix. So who is in this poem? Who are our who's? Yeah.
There's an elephant, and I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Pete the name of the elephant, or is Pete the name of the person who is saying the poem?
You know what? What do you at home think? I think that there could be good evidence for either, because it doesn't exactly say. So there's a so I heard you say, so we know there's an elephant, there's a Pete at the zoo, and the Pete could be the elephant's name, or who's the other person who Pete could be potentially?
The person who the poem's perspective is from?
Yeah, definitely, right. And since it's saying, it's from the I perspective, that first person perspective, there's a speaker to the poem and they're looking at an elephant. And so that also gives us to, we kind of know one of the wheres, which is at the zoo. They have this encounter. Maybe the elephant's named Pete, maybe the speaker's named Pete. You could decide, you at home, which you think, and does that change how you feel about the poem? So, and, our what, I think some of our what is that there was this encounter at the zoo. There's the person who's the speaker has seen this elephant at the zoo, and what else happens at the zoo that we learn about in the poem? Like if I look at oh, go ahead, Miss Anna.
No, I didn't know. I wasn't sure how long we were going to wait for our friends at home.
Yeah, of course.
But I also have another theory, Miss Tierra, and maybe I'm wrong about this theory too.
Go for it.
The what is that the speaker is describing how the elephant behaves in front of other people, in front of boys and girls. And, they're curious about if the elephant is sad, I guess, when the people are gone, or I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But my theory that is probably not true, but is an idea. I wonder if the speaker is also an elephant.
Ah. What do you at home think? This is part of what I love about poetry,
I
because they don't, it's not like a, I also like math, don't get me wrong, but it's not like a math test where sometimes there's just a clear right and a clear wrong. It's like, you look at the words and, what's your evidence in the poem for how you feel? There's definitely a connection between the speaker and the elephant. Whether it's another animal at the zoo who's thinking about Pete, or it's, if Pete's the elephant's name, or it's maybe a human person who came to visit. Because we have those last two lines where it says, "Does he hunch up as I do against the dark of night?" So there's something where the speaker of the poem is comparing themselves, and wondering if there's a connection and experience between them and this elephant, who the speaker wonders, like, does this elephant get lonely? When all the boys and girls at the zoo are gone, when, there's no one for the elephant to, like, shout, make his, like, I'm doing this for the elephant, no, it's like, to make elephant noises at, for him to stamp his feet when no one's watching, when no one's going, oh, like how mighty, looking at that word might in the last, that the third line before the end, no one to note his might. How does the elephant feel when everyone leaves, and does he feel like I do at night sometimes? I think that's kind of part of the, I think one of the whens in terms of this poem, right? There's a change in the time. Like, it talks about, oh, probably during the day, because that's when people might go see a zoo. Maybe there's people around, there's noise, there's stamping, and then at night, later in the evening, it's a different kind of scene. Yeah, and there's not as much activity there. And there's this, and for you at home, sometimes this is also why I like, I think bringing our body into poetry can help us understand it. Go ahead, hunch your shoulders up, and think of, just for yourself, what are different feelings that you have, or a person, a being could have, if they're hunched up against the night, like it says in the poem. And you can go ahead and let that go, but that could be a clue to maybe, maybe some of the feelings you think about when you make that movement, maybe that's how the speaker's feeling. Maybe that's what he's or she or they are wondering if the elephant is feeling. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually explore this whole poem with our body. So you can, again, I think we let the hunching go, but you haven't already, like, roll out your shoulders, shake it out, shake it out. And let's see just like what we learn about this poem when we bring it to life with our bodies. So kind of similar to what we did with the murals, I'm going to read a line, and probably maybe this time I'll clap rather than snap. I will read a part of the poem and then I'll clap. And then when you hear the clap, you at home, and Miss Anna will do this with you too for fun, make either a tableau or a pantomime that could be, again, literal, or it could be totally abstract movement, just responding to what you heard. There's no right, there is no wrong. And again, we're improvising, so our first thought is our best thought. We say yes to it, we just make it, because pretty soon then the next line's going to come. And it's kind of like this is a way to make theater out of a poem. Sometimes it gets called a choreo poem. Choreo, if maybe you guys have heard of the word choreography, which is like the specific dance moves put to a song sometimes, but just the different movements that are specific to a dance that get choreographed, like these are the movements you have to do. So a choreo poem is kind of like a danced poem, but rather than us giving you the movements to do, you get to make them up yourself. Okay, so again, one more time, I will say a line, I'll clap, you respond to that with your body, make it come to life. I'll go on, I'll say the next part. Yeah.
Can I say something real quick, Miss Tierra? I also want to say it is used for dance, but the word choreography just means that you're setting a movement, because there's also fight choreography where you have to set, because I don't want folks at home to feel like they have to dance. It's just movement. There's fight choreography, there's intimacy choreography, there's all kinds of different kinds of choreography. It just means that we're setting a body movement, since today is our creative movement day. So I just want to make take the weight off if you feel like you have to like do a pirouette.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for saying all of that. Okay, yeah, and with that, knowing that, yeah, it's about movement. That could be more dance-like. It could be, I don't, if you have fight moves that come out, if that's what comes out for this, hey, go ahead as long as you stay safe. But let's go ahead, get into our actor neutral, either standing or sat with a nice, gently tall spine. Again, not a rigid spine, but just a nice, gently stacked tall spine. Take one deep breath in and out. Pete at the Zoo by Gwendolyn Brooks. I wonder if the elephant is lonely in his stall. When all the boys and girls are gone, and there's no shout at all. And there's no one to stamp before. No one to note his might. Does he hunch up as I do against the dark of night? Okay, take a deep breath in. And then shake it out and give yourself a round of applause. That was wonderful. Oh, I wish, friends at home, that I could see, what you did, the movements that you made, how you made it come to life. I bet I would have been so inspired. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Okay, okay, first, friends at home, what was that like? How was that experience for y'all? Take a moment and check in with yourselves. Miss Anna, what about you? What was it like making that poem come to life?
I felt like I was able to understand the emotions in the poem a little bit better, because at the beginning, there's the word lonely, and I connected the rest of the poem to loneliness a lot more when I put myself in the shoes of the words more physically. I felt like I was able to experience more emotions.
Thank you for sharing that. And for you folks at home, like, I'm so curious, did some of your movements, was it exploring the elephant? Was it exploring the speaker? Was it exploring the different people at the zoo? Was it exploring the time? I just wish I could have seen what inspired me. And so, if again, the fun thing about these videos is that they are videos. So if you want to go back and just do it again and see what else comes out, or what else you might feel or you might learn by doing that, go ahead.
And if you like what you did and you want to film yourself, you can send us videos, quinnandstreet@gmail.com. You can send us anything that you make from these videos. We'd love to see or read or hear anything that you do.
Absolutely. You can always ask a grown-up to help you with that. And can you believe we are at the end of this Creative Movement Day? We will keep moving creatively as we continue our deep dive into Imagination series. Let's go ahead and officially kind of check out. And we're going to check out in the way that we checked in, which is take a moment for yourself, see how you're feeling, and express that rather than words, express that with a movement. So you, friends at home, with a movement, how are you feeling? Okay. Miss Anna, how are you feeling? Thank you for sharing. I'm feeling That's me. All right, let's take it out with a couple more good breaths. So again, find yourself in your actor neutral, standing or sat. You get to close your eyes if you want. You can keep them open. You can find a spot to gently rest them on in front of you. You go ahead and make your choice. I'll go ahead and close my eyes. Deep breath into our nose, out through our mouth. Deep breath into our nose, out through our mouth. One more deep breath in through our nose. Deep, 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 and hold it for 3, 2, 1, all the way out. And let's meet back with our eyes on the screen. Thank you so much for playing today. See you all next time. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others.